Welcome back, Harrison F Trucks Queensland here. Today I'm going to just talk you through a conversion on a Ford F-150. Now predominantly when we walk around the outside of this vehicle you're not going to really notice anything different, too different anyway, as to what you'd see in a normal left-hand drive vehicle in America. The sides are exactly the same, you walk down this side here exactly the same. In Australia you can see that the indicators on the mirrors work as they should. They're fully ADR approved and complied. Up here you've got your blind spot monitoring amber indicator which works as it should, no problems both sides. Down here you can see the sensors for your automatic park assist, because yes, this truck does park itself. How cool is that? And that works fine, and you can park either on the left or the right hand side of the road. We walk around the front of the truck. Now this particular truck's the Ford F-150 FDX, but the conversion aspects are the same. We go around here, we can see the headlamps, all LEDs, and HIDs completely approved for Australia. You can see our indicator flashing here. It's a little LED strip, comes around like so. That all passed. Now in America, that LED strip also would turn on as a solid lamp if they turn their parker lamps on. Now that's not an ADR approved system to use, so what we do is we put a little LED light down here. You can see that's just glowing. That comes on as the parker lamps for Australia, and we remain using the other LED band there for your turn signals. Walk around, you can see the other mirrors. Just put this bonnet down here a little bit. Now you can see this section here, obviously the windscreen wipers used to wipe the other way, but they've been reverse engineered to wipe the way that we like them to wipe out here. And you can see a 3D moulded custom plastic section that's been put back in there by us. Almost looks factory fitted. We make a small adjustment to the angle the mirrors fold back to, so you can see correctly on both sides. Look, some companies prefer to use a wedge which goes in behind the plastic just here. We prefer to do it this way. Look, which way is best, it's up to you. Look, they both do the same thing. Just depends on what you like to look at. Walk down the sides here. As we come around the back of the vehicle, all lighting on the back of the vehicle is completely approved in Australia. Again, LED rear tail lights. You've got your blind spot radar monitoring system in the back here, which is function. Every system on this truck, whether it be a safety system or something inside the truck, from a cabin comfort perspective, works as it should, and as it did in America. One little difference on the headlamp, the tail lamps. Obviously, you're probably aware that in America they don't have amber indicators on the rear. They have a flashing brake light as their turn signal, which unfortunately doesn't pass in Australia. So we put an LED strip down here in the bumper, which is your turn indicator, and your tail lights and brake lights and reverse lamps stay up there. We do change the wiring on the truck to suit Australian wiring standards and our trailers. And you can see just here one little other modification, which is just a rear reflector, which is an ADR requirement. That's really the only differences on the outside. There's not really a big thing. Most of all the other technical stuff happens inside the firewall and under the engine bay. So I'm just going to open the engine, we'll have a look. And yes, we do keep the engine bonnet release on the passenger side. Some people ask why we do that. Well, there are some things with conversions that are technically possible and some that aren't technically possible, so that one is not quite technically possible at this point in time, and given the fact it's Ford, it never breaks down and you never really need to open the bonnet anyway. Don't tell Holden people I said that. Okay, so up we go. Now looking under here, everything looks factory OEM, and that's the way we like it to look. Now over on the back there is the firewall. And you can see over here we've got the brake booster, and down here we've got your air conditioning heater controls that go through the firewall. Now they've basically been swept around. Normally you'd have your brake booster there and your air conditioning controls there. We make a modification to the firewall New inserts go in and the brake booster comes over here. The brake booster is put onto a reinforced section on the firewall, and the reason we do that is it's under hard braking loads or hard braking, emergency braking conditions. When you put your foot down on your brake fairly hard, as we all do, there's a fair bit of pressure there, and the one thing you don't want to happen is you don't want the firewall to flex when it's under pressure. That'll take away some of your braking performance and dynamics, so that's all reinforced. As it would be in Ford factory. And over here you can see where our new aircon pipes and controls go through. Nothing's touched on the engine. We don't. It's important to note that we do not touch the engine or the engine mounts. We don't offset the engine in order to get clearances anywhere. We do not touch it. That's a big no-no to do that. It changes everything. You can see there's plenty of clearances with wiring and hoses throughout the whole engine bay. There's just a lot of room for everything. Battery stays where Ford had it, all this stuff stays where Ford had it. The main things, as you can see, that we do under here is firewall, brake booster, some wiring, air conditioning, and the one big thing which I unfortunately can't show you from these angles is the steering. Now this truck has a very complex steering system in it. It's an electric steering rack, which creates a lot of technical challenges, you could say, to re-engineer it, but we've reverse engineered it and got it pretty much perfect. We're the first in the country to actually get it going and delivered to date about 80 of these vehicles. Benefit to the electric rack really is gives you automatic camber adjustment. It also ties in with your speed that you do on the truck, so the faster you go or the slower you go, the sensitivity of the steering will change. You can also get some haptic feedback through the steering wheel based on different driving conditions or dangers that may be coming up. The steering wheel basically shakes. You've got your lane monitoring systems where the steering will automatically adjust slightly and bring you back inside a lane if you start to wander out of it. Now I'm just going to start at the side just here at the front. All our seating controls work as they should. When you're looking at a converted vehicle, you can see on this, we go forward, the seat goes forward, we go back, the seat goes back. It's not uncommon to see this section of any conversion done incorrectly, so it might look good, but when you use your controls, they do the opposite to what the input is that you're telling it to do, which isn't a good thing. You can see down here, this F-150 has a symmetrical firewall, so the space you get on this side of the footwell and the other side of the footwell is exactly the same. So we don't alter anything down here, fuse boxes or anything. All this is all custom made, 3D printed. You can see our dash. You would swear when you were sitting in this vehicle that it was manufactured by Ford. There's no telltales that it wasn't. You can see the custom pieces we make to go in here for your switches. See there's switches again, those switches all work as they should. When you press the window down, it goes down, mirrors out, they go out.